Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now I want to talk today about the serious decline in F1 gaming. Yes, and there is a reason for that, and that reason is down to one word. So when F1 2010 first came out, I think it was pretty much the perfect F1 game. It had that immersion factor which has been sadly missing from all the games since. Okay, so it was a little bit too easy and the AI were a little bit thick, but overall it managed to really pull off the wow factor, which is what you need in a Formula 1 game. And now sadly every year Codemasters have just regurgitated the same game over and over, sometimes with a little bit of success, but overall it's been a backward step pretty much every single iteration. So now we've reached F1 23 and sadly interest in the game is now at an all-time low. The career mode has not been altered whatsoever for this year from F1 22. In fact, it's still pretty similar to F1 2020 in the My Team, which first came out in that year. Of course, we had Breaking Point 2, which was quite an exciting diversion, but it was never going to draw us in for a whole year before the next game comes out. So yes, unfortunately, apathy has now prevailed and people are pretty much fed up with the F1 game. But of course this is also reflected in real life as well, because if real life Formula 1 isn't going too well, and of course it isn't because of the domination by Max Verstappen, then gaming F1 also suffers as well. If you don't believe me, I will tell you that a certain Tomb Raider game was blamed for the poor box office success of the Tomb Raider movie, which came out at pretty much the same time as well. So yes, in real life does affect gaming as well. So what's the answer? Well, sadly, I think it's finally now time to move on from the last generation. I've been a great supporter of still being able to play on the PS4, but I think now if we really want the series to move forward, we have to ditch the last generation support and move on now solely to PlayStation 5. Because when that happens, a revolution could be in force. So while I have heard that this game is rather shallow in the gameplay department, what it does have is the Unreal Engine. And that's exactly what the F1 games need to propel them forward. They also need a complete overhaul of the career mode structure. The interface now is looking very last gen with all the development tree parts and stuff like that. That needs to be completely thrown in the bin and start again from scratch. And I think then the interest in Formula 1 games will improve. Now, a few years ago, I made a video saying about EA taking over Codemasters was very bad news for the F1 game franchise. And sadly, looking at that video again, pretty much everything I said has come true. EA don't care about the F1 franchise. All they care about is their bottom line. And unfortunately, the series is not going to be pushed forward until something radical is done. And of course, something radical could be that sales get so low that they are forced into a change, and that is great news for us as Formula 1 fans. What we want to see is F1 24 running on the Unreal Engine with a completely revised physics engine, which I've not been a fan of ever since EA have taken over. I've said it many times. I don't like the handling model since EA took over. They've definitely had an influence on the handling, I do believe. So we need all of that completely revised and then come out of the gates with a really strong next gen only game. I'm sorry PS4 fans, but it has to be now. It has to be a next gen only game. And then I think interest in the Formula 1 games will increase. Now, if we just look at the big F1 YouTubers as an example, we can see that Arava, unfortunately, has already had to go to a modded career mode. Don't forget, we're only just in November. A modded career mode just to keep interest going on the Formula 1 game, because obviously views have been down across the board for his videos. This is not the heyday, unfortunately, of 2020 and 2021. Views have been right down these videos, unfortunately, for Arava. Now, if we look at Tiamat Marduk, the situation there is even worse. In fact, Benjamin has only just finished Season 1 of his My Team career mode on F1 23. That pretty much says it all about the state of play with this game. I mean, fundamentally, there's nothing wrong with the game, F1 23, but unfortunately, because of no major changes made to it, people have just lost interest, and this is not a good situation. As you can see, he's just finished season 1 finale. He'd be on about 3 seasons by now on all the other games, but yes, and the views are just for, you know, a YouTuber that's got 718k subscribers. He got 55 views, and that's been 2 weeks ago now for his My Team. It's nothing to do with the quality of the videos. They are still exactly the same as they were before. It's due to lack of interest and that word I got back to earlier, apathy, for the F1 games. So let's move on to the Brazil race, and I've got to say it, everyone. Fantastic. Congratulations to Fernando Alonso. Yes, what a move on Sergio Perez. What a move to get 3rd place on the podium in the Aston Martin. I'm going to eat my hat, because anyone who saw my live streams said that Aston Martin were pretty much finished, and that was it from them. I don't know where that performance came from. Even more surprising to me was Lance Stroll getting 5th place. Where on earth did that come from? It was only 2 weeks ago. He was down the dumps and saying his car was crap and he was crap, and now he gets 5th place. It's just unbelievable. It just shows you, though, that some of the tracks suit some of the cars a lot better than others, which is very surprising. But yes, so Fernando Alonso, wow. And let's go back to the start of the race. In fact, before the start of the race, the formation lap, unfortunately, I mean, I think a lot of people were thinking, oh no, what has Charles Leclerc done? Has he done a David Twat Coulthard and actually binned it on the formation lap? In fact, I was thinking that myself as well. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. It was a hydraulics failure, I do believe, with the car. Now, of course, with that, there's nothing you can do. The car locks up and you're just basically a passenger. You imagine going down the motorway at about 90 miles an hour and suddenly your gearbox seizes up. Just imagine what that would do. I mean, you'd be plastered all over the flyover, wouldn't you? Thankfully, modern cars and modern technology, you get warning lights like 2,000 or 3,000 miles before it's going to do that to tell you, you really should stop the car now. But of course, in Formula One, everything's set at its limits. And I don't know if they've got sort of warning lights on the dashboard to say about hydraulics failing. Probably do have, but it probably just comes on and then the hydraulics fail. You know, there's no warning, because as I say, everything in Formula One is so tightly put together that there's probably no warning, and that was it. And so Charles Leclerc on the formation lap ended up in the barrier, and as he said, quite rightly so, why am I so unlucky? And it's true, why is he so unlucky? I just don't get it. I really don't. But yeah, so bad news for Charles Leclerc, good news for Fernando Alonso, almost forgot his name then, for being 3rd place. Congratulations to him, and to Lance Stroll as well. I'm going to eat my boots later. Yeah, I'm going to eat my boots later, because it just came out of nowhere. But of course, the surprising non-result was Mercedes and Lulu. What on earth was going on there with Mercedes? I don't know. As I said, some tracks suit other cars, and Brazil definitely did not suit Lulu whatsoever, because he was absolutely nowhere. I think he finished 8th in the end, didn't he? But yeah, so that was a very disappointing day for Mercedes. They've seemed really strong these last few races, but not in Brazil. Anyway, congratulations to Max Verstappen for once again winning the race. The guy is just absolutely unstoppable, and it's just been his season all over. So congratulations to him. And it was a fairly enjoyable race, I have to say. Of course, now we've got a 2-week break, and then we're going to Las Vegas with all the lights and the pomp and the circus. I can't wait for Las Vegas. I think it's going to be an absolute disaster. I'm just hoping that we're not going to get these rappers doing something at the start for all the drivers. You know, was it LL Cool J, wasn't it, on that last one in Miami? I'm not quite, but that was embarrassing. I just hope that's not going to happen, but I fear that it may do. It may do, yes. But yeah, so we got Las Vegas, and then we got the final round in Abu Dhabi. I have heard rumours that Abu Dhabi may not be taking place. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard rumours because, of course, you know, things are not looking good in the Middle East right now. Of course, you know, Abu Dhabi is absolutely nowhere near Israel Israel. I can't even say the word, but it's nowhere near it. But of course, you know, things tend to, you know, cause problems in other places as well. So yeah, that's what I've heard the rumour, but I'm pretty sure it will go ahead at Abu Dhabi and be the final round, and then that will be the end of the 2023 season. It's been a long season, 22 races, which if you actually look on the official F1 website, they are still counting the which one was it, the Imola race that was cancelled, so they're still counting that in the list. Okay, so it's going to be 23 races in the end with that one that's cancelled. So that's not correct, but anyway, we'll run with it, because I've been recording all these things and I've been numbering them up, and I'm going, why are they saying it's round 21 when it's only round 20? So it's been a bit bizarre that they've still included that race. But anyway, that's what it's going to be, 22 races at the end. Las Vegas and of course Abu Dhabi to finish. So anyway, there you go. That's my little mini tiny review of the F1 race, which I did enjoy, and thanks to Channel 4 for actually showing it before midnight. Yes, because usually on those flyaway races we don't get it till about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, but it was actually on about 10:30. I waited a little bit for it to record so I don't have to watch the adverts, but yeah, that was pretty decent of Channel 4, so well done. I was a little bit confused as why Channel 4 were in Biggin Hill at the technology studio and not actually in Brazil. But they didn't really ever explain that either. But anyway, there they were. And great to see the chaps there anyway, giving their commentary as always. And James Hinchcliffe, once again, was doing commentary. Now, I thought they just replaced Jolyon Palmer for the flyaway races in, like the United States and that. But no, Jolyon Palmer was there with James Hinchcliffe as well. So is he going to now be a commentator next year, sort of full time? I'm not quite sure. Or is it just for the American races? But we'll have to find out next year. But I think he does a pretty good job. I'm sorry, but I don't know who he. I know he was in motorsport in the US, but I don't know what he was. Was he a NASCAR? Something like that. Anyway, I'm sorry, I don't follow. But yeah, I think he does a pretty decent job, it has to be said. So yeah, he may continue next year in commentary. Who knows? Maybe he's going to be replacing David Coulthard, because he seems to disappear for quite a lot of the races these days. I don't know what's going on with David Coulthard, but that may be the case. And, you know, James Hinchcliffe may be coming in as a sort of, you know, just to test him out, to get him up to speed before he does become a full-time commentator next year. We'll have to find out, and we'll have to wait and see what happens. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, everyone. You have been awesome as always, and I'll catch you in the next video.